Again, welcome to another Daly's demo. Today we're going to look at drawing some cake forms, shapes that we're going to try and make look 3D. But looking at cakes, we've looked at the work of Thiebaud in the PowerPoint. So now let's have a go at drawing some ourselves. Okay, I'm going to start by drawing an ellipse. An ellipse is a flattened circle, okay? And that's going to be the top of this little cake here. Now notice how the whole of my hand is moving. I'm moving all of my hand to try and draw that shape, to try and get the marks really nice and smooth and continuous. And before you let your pencil touch the paper, just practice doing that shape with your hand, okay? And then you'll start to see that the shape becomes the shape that you want, and hopefully it'll come together, and then you can let the pencil touch the paper. So I'm going to replicate that shape that I've got here. I've got to replicate that down at the bottom. Okay, it's a very common mistake is to just draw a straight line here. Okay, so I really want you thinking about how this and this are related. They're parallel really. We'll see a lot of parallel lines within this little activity that we're looking at today. Try and make sure that you maintain this curve right up to here. Okay, we don't want any sharp angles. But we've got a little basic shape there. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Let's draw a slice of cake. Again, I'm using my whole hand. I'm moving my whole hand along this space. Okay. Notice how, I might have drawn it there, then I didn't like it, and I've redrawn it next to that. So build up your lines, redraw them. Doesn't matter that some of the lines aren't the way that you want them to be. Just keep going. So these two lines here are parallel. Now I've got a line here that's vertical. I want another vertical line here. And compare it to the line at the edge of your sheet there, all right, or at the edge of your page. And hopefully that'll help you understand how to get your verticals looking nice. Now, having drawn these two for the side of the cake, I might want another line there for something that I might put in the middle of the cake, like some jam or cream or something. I'm going to draw this edge here, again using the whole hand, moving this whole line to get that. And then the back bit here, I want you to try and visualise, this is a piece from a whole circular cake. So this line's going to have a little curve on it. Okay, it's going to be subtle, but it is a little curve. I've come outside of the edge I wanted there, so I'm going to use a rubber just to clean up my lines a little bit. Let's come back to that in a minute. Let's have a go at drawing something like a little cupcake or something. So again, we're looking at a nice ellipse shape. Practice that, get that looking nice. Replicate this shape at the bottom again. We just talked about that here, so it's the same thing, same formula. Let's get these sides narrowing in, but they're straight lines that come in together. Make sure these round up here at the corners. And start to get a basic cupcake shape. Okay, happy with that. We'll move on to the next one and we'll come back to this again in a bit. Imagine this slice of cake, but let's turn it so it's on its side and have a look at how that looks. We'll have a flat line here. This triangular shape there. Let's make that parallel. So remember, this line here will also look the same parallel line there. These two will also parallel. Just like the back here, we want a nice curve on this part. Okay, so we've got our basic shapes. Let's see what we want to do with those. Let's add something here. So I'm going to rub out a bit. Now, you might have a rubber, or you can also use blue tack. Blue tack's great for rubbing out, especially if you've got a shading pencil, which is what I'm using. Let's have a dollop of cream or something here. Okay, maybe we've got some tone going on. Now, when we looked at Thiebaud's work, we saw lots of really strong shadows. So it'd be great if we could build those into our work. Okay. So the light's coming from this side, so tones and darker areas will be over here. Let's build those in. The direction of that shadow there will be the same as this one here. Okay. Just have a go at something like that. Okay, that'll do for a little sketch. This one here, Maybe we want to do something like some cream oozing here in the middle of the cake. Again, let's get some tone on there. Let's imagine the light's coming from above. Some of this cream, where it sticks out, will have little shadows underneath. Okay, we can soften it using our finger to blend it. Imagine if the tone of the icing was a bit darker than the sponge. So we can make a bit of a darker mark there. We could add some texture to the sponge as well. Some nice little dots to show the airy texture inside. Okay, I have a little shadow behind here. Let's make the icing look like it's dripping down a little bit. And just make sure all your lines are strong enough. That might need strengthening there. A few little crumbs. Let's move on to this one. Again, we want a sense of form, so there'll be some nice dark areas building up around here and underneath, under there. And we're familiar with that sort of concertina pattern that you see around a cupcake. So we can draw that. A little bit of tone. Ooh, it's up. A little shadow going on. There's maybe some chocolate chips or something in here. Okay, make sure we've not lost any of our important lines. Okay, that will do for now. Let's get something going on in here. Maybe some jam or something. Again, let's get some tone on the ice in there. It's a bit blending. Maybe some little crumbs. And the shadows of the crumbs as well. A little shadow there. Bit of texture. And let's just tidy up the icing. A little bit of texture. Okay, so we've got a little series of drawings there of how to draw some cake forms. Next week we'll look at colour, but we'll leave it at that for today.